Pretty Woman and Runaway Bride leading man, Richard Gere, was once at the top of the Hollywood A-list. The charismatic actor was in high demand and regularly received both critical and public praise for his craft. Praised for his acting talent and striking good looks, Gere has captured the hearts of many women, from his teenage years to his time as a middle-aged man. Numerous women have passed through the life of the actor, and currently, he is accompanied by a stunning partner who is 30 years his junior. Recently, the couple made a bold decision to leave New York and settle in another country. And every decision was made for love. Showing promising talent as a child. Richard Gere was born to a large Methodist family on August 31, 1949 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Growing up, Gere showed a diverse range of talents, from athletics to music. In high school, he played trumpet in the band and excelled in gymnastics. He even attended the University of Massachusetts at Amherst on a gymnastics scholarship. Gere studied psychology and drama at UMass for 2 years before dropping out to pursue acting full-time. Despite showing such promise, Gere underwent some hard times before gaining fame. The actor was unable to go out to eat during the early days of his career and relied mostly on eggs since they were so cheap. After leaving UMass to pursue theater, Gere landed his first leading role as Danny Zuko in a London production of Grease. Gere continued to rise in the theater world while working odd jobs to support his budding career. In 1979, Gere was discovered while playing the promiscuous gay socialite Max Berber in the Broadway production of Bent. Shortly after transitioning to the screen, Gere garnered mainstream acclaim for his role in American Gigolo. Later, Gere's Broadway and Hollywood skills would merge for the award-winning movie musical Chicago. Finding love again after heartbreak. Richard Gere met Alejandra Silva when she was young, as the actor had borrowed a boat from her father for a film. However, several years had to pass before they could feel an attraction to each other and start a romantic relationship. The two began dating in 2014, but it was in 2018 that they decided to get married in a discreet wedding. The actor found in his wife a partner who values humanitarian work, as Silva works in a foundation that fights to eradicate homelessness in Spain. He has also said that, "I am the happiest man in the universe. How could I not be? I'm married to a beautiful woman who is smart, sensitive, committed to helping people, who's fun, patient, who knows how to forgive, who's a great cook, and who makes the best salads in the world." The young activist said in turn, "I feel like I am in a true fairy tale. Without a doubt, I feel like the luckiest woman in the world. What could be more romantic than a man who writes you songs every day?" And the fact is that Gere, staying at the family hotel, courted her by sending her flowers until she agreed to go out with him. And when they got married, he began to sing to her every day. In addition, Silva has nothing but praise for her husband. He is the most humble, sensitive, affectionate, attentive, funny, generous man that I've ever met. What can I say? I'm so in love. How would you feel if each morning you were asked, "What would make you happy today?" Not a day goes by that he doesn't mention how important I am to him. I feel very lucky. Both were going through the divorce process when they met again after a long time. And despite being more than 30 years apart, that was no impediment to the love and support they have for each other in overcoming their difficulties. On this topic, Silva said, "Love stories with a complicated beginning, where you have to overcome difficulties together, can bring you closer. I'm sure I did have some doubts at some point. In the beginning, he was more convinced than me. But from very early on, we felt that we were destined to be together." Recently, Gere's family moved to Spain. The 75-year-old Pretty Woman star first announced his plans to quit the US and relocate to Europe in April, explaining that he wanted to give his spouse, Alejandra Silva, a chance to spend more time with her family, many of whom live in Spain. He made good on his promise just a few months later when he and Silva sold their Connecticut mansion for $10.75 million and packed their bags to move overseas, arriving in their new property at the start of December, just in time for Christmas. Romantic history. Before having a happy marriage with Silva, Gere captured the media's attention with his romantic relationships. He made headlines when he married Cindy Crawford in 1991. The actor had just come off the enormous success of 1990's Pretty Woman, while Crawford was taking the world by storm as one of the biggest supermodels of the time. After the two split in 1995, he went on to marry Lowell in 2002, 2 years after the birth of their son, Homer. After Lowell filed for divorce from the actor in 2013, Gere went on to date Padma Lakshmi the following year. He met Silva in 2015, and the rest was history. Gere and Lowell finalized their divorce 1 year later. Let's see all of Gere's past partners over the years. Let's start with Dawn Steele. Steele, who would go on to become a top movie executive before her death in 1997, dated Gere, then a struggling actor, in the early 70s upon moving to Los Angeles. She later recalled her relationship with the then unknown star in a 1993 interview with the Washington Post when asked if her looks got her ahead in the industry. She remembered a moment where the actor once said that she was pretty enough. She added at the time, it didn't stop him. Penelope Milford dated Gere throughout the 70s after meeting during an NYC production of a folk musical. The two split in 1978. It was the Studio 54 days, painter Sylvia Martins said in 1995 about her time with Gere. You did things without thinking because you were young and pretty. You'd see someone and go for it. Gere and model Carol Mallory had a one-night stand in the late 1970s, she claimed in her 2013 memoir, Picasso's Ghosts. His gymnastic skills were apparent. He made love his way. He didn't withhold, Mallory wrote about Gere's apparent prowess in the book. He was Valentino in the flesh, a sex symbol not to be forgotten, not to be lumped in with all the others, but to be remembered for his uniqueness, his thoughtfulness, his caring. Gere and Crawford were married from 1991 to 1995, a 4-year period that saw the two at the height of their respective careers. The supermodel later called her marriage to Gere a great chapter in her life, explaining that their big age gap caused difficulty in their relationship. I think a lot of what happened with Richard and I was that I was still 22, and at 22, as a young woman, I was kind of still figuring out who I was and what I wanted to be, and he was already 37, she said in a 2013 interview. So in some ways, he knew that I was still growing and changing. I just didn't want to hear it from him because at 22 you think you know everything. You think you're already formed, and then you realize, 10 years later, that they were totally right. Carrie Lowell and Gere began dating in 1996, welcoming son Homer 4 years later, and exchanging vows in 2002. Lowell split from the Bedford Post Inn owner in 2013, and the couple finalized their divorce 3 years later. Gere and Padma Lakshmi began dating in April 2014. They were having fun at the time. Their relationship was not meant to last, however, and the two called it quits 6 months later. And now, the actor has a happy life in Spain with his wife, Alejandra Silva, who is 30 years younger than her husband.